Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode on Super Negotiate. It is the day 3 on my token economics for the procurement category managers. I think in the first two chapters, what we have seen is we have discussed what are tokens. We have also discussed how to translate number of words into tokens by the rules of three. We have also discussed different kinds of tokens. We have also seen the concept of surge pricing, which I think is extremely important for a procurement manager to analyze. And in this session, what I want to cover is who is selling the intelligence. And since we already know the context window, what a context window is, why does it matter from my last session, I think we will try to build it up in this session. So as you see there, in my view, we can classify the three classes or three types of the intelligence provider. So one, I would say Anthropic and OpenAI in the premium or the flagship models. Then I have my value for money segment where I would just put Gemini and we'll talk about it, why I think it's value for money. And third is the challenger aspect. And this is where I think the biggest opportunity lie for the procurement team. In the challengers, we have Grok, extremely strong contender. We will have DeepSeek, we will have Mistral, and then a couple of other model providers. Recently, Quen and Kimi can also be added there. There are other aspects of applying the geopolitical layer to classify this. I'm not going to go into that kind of a segmentation from the capability perspective. So we have three segments, like I mentioned. We have the flagship one, we have the value for money, and we have the challenges. Now, why this is more important for a procurement manager to analyze? Like we discussed, you don't have to use, for example, the flagship model for each and every use case. And let's go into a bit more into why is that. Of course, cost is one of the parameter. And what I've also found out, and this is very interesting, is even though if you're choosing, let's say, Fable 5, which is probably the most expensive one right now, for a simple query, Fable 5 in the back end, they will do the orchestration of, do you really need to have that expensive processing capability of Fable 5 for the task that has been assigned? And it's very likely they will use Opus or a cheaper model in the backend to do that task. But you are getting charged based on the Fable 5 pricing. So the orchestration is still happening, whether you as a procurement manager are doing it or not. So why to pay for an expensive model for a very simple task? And this is the concept that will carry forward. The whole value of the frontier models, the value for money and the challenges is because according to the use case, you need to pick and choose which model fits the bill best. I'm not going into the details right now. We are taking it slow, but each and every LLM provider has their own different models, right? Anthropic can have Fables and the Opus and the Sonnets, similarly the GPT classes, etc. We'll go there step by step. But one thing I really want to highlight, and which is contrary in this category, is please do not lock down the pricing, a multi-year pricing for your models right away. It will be absolutely devastating. And I'll tell you the reason why. There are two curves that are going out in the market right now. One is the cost of the models, the cost of existing model. It will fall down extremely quickly. I think the rate is about 5 to 10 times in the span of 2 to 3 years. The model that you are probably using now, the cost of that model in 2 to 3 years will be, let's say, by 5x cheaper. And this is the input output token cost I'm talking about. So you're already on a downward curve. That's why I'm saying do not lock down your pricing. The second aspect I'm saying is the cost of new models. So let's say Fable 6, I'm just picking up a name. That cost is increasing exponentially, right? So that means more processing power, more compute power with the surge pricing of the DRAMs and the getting more data squeezed in into an already optimized model. Heavy amount of computing powers are required. That's why you have one curve coming down in terms of the model depreciation cost wise, and you have one curve which is going up, which is the new models will become more and more expensive. Me as a procurement manager, I will always like to write my 90% of the use cases with a model where the cost is coming down. That's why it's extremely important for you to understand this category. Let me give an example towards a parting thought or for this lesson. My favorite unit is how many words can I process using $1. This is how I'm evaluating my TCO costing. How many words can I process using $1 with each of the model? So for example, if it is Fable 5, I can probably process only 150,000 words today under $1. This is using July 2026 as a pricing. But when I go to Gemini, I can do 10 times more, which is 1.5 million tokens or words under $1, which is roughly about, I don't know, 7 to 10 novels if you use that vocabulary. But it's 1.5 million, 10 times more. But when you go into models such as DeepSeek, you can process up to 5 million words. So now you have a whole variety of a model which can only give you 150,000 words in $1 to a model which can give you probably 5 million words under $1. And this is where exactly you come in as a procurement manager. Which use case needs which kind of model? How do you optimize the model share? Are these problems similar to you? Vendor share optimization. But the contrary part is do not lock yourself down the multi-year pricing because the cost of the model is coming down. That's pretty much it for this session. In the next one, things are going to get a bit more interesting because I want to talk about two things. The first thing I want to talk about is batch processing, and the second thing I want to talk about is prompt caching. Both of these techniques can reduce your cost up to 50 to 90%. So we'll talk about that in detail in the next session. I hope you're enjoying this series, and I'll come back to you with my fourth lecture. Till then, thank you very much for watching this video.